Hey ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today's video is going to be another 5 in 5 video where I give you 5 book recommendations in 5 minutes or less. So let's go ahead and get started. Today's theme is Housewife Horror. I was inspired to do this list of recommendations by both Chappell Roan's new song, Good Luck Babe, with one of the hard-hitting lyrics being "You're nothing more than his wife," and then an absolutely bonkers Handmaid's Tale-esque speech by a irrelevant player from the Chiefs. So let's just go ahead and get into these housewife horror books. Now for these book recommendations, I typically try to stay away from like the classics or titles that people have all heard about already. However, for this first recommendation, I'm recommending The Stepford Wives by Levin because I feel like this is a classic that genuinely really holds up, unfortunately. The Stepford Wives follow this couple who move into this very idyllic, beautiful community, and the wife starts feeling like things are just not quite right under the surface. I'm super fortunate to have this very vintage edition of The Stepford Wives, and even on the dust jacket of this book, it already says that this is one of those rare novels whose very title may well become part of our vocabulary for after reading it. You will never forget Stepford and the horror it contains, and there's a certain kind of woman who from now on will be known as a Stepford wife. So if you have not read this horror classic, highly recommend. I think this is just one of those books that unfortunately has social commentary that is kind of relevant today. The next book recommendation is Nightbitch by Rachel Yoder, and this is about a woman who is an artist turned stay-at-home mom who after the birth of her first child believes that she is slowly turning into a dog. This one is very darkly funny and has a very good blend of surrealism and satire. This book explores the ways in which motherhood as identity can feel very constraining for people, and how after once you become a mother, in a lot of ways society really changes your identity on you and puts you into boxes and just has you being a mother first and yourself second. It's a darkly comedic book about motherhood and female rage. Now this next one is technically a sci-fi, not a horror, but the concept is horrific, and that would be Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young. This is actually the first book in a series, but I think that the narrative kind of wraps up a lot of loose ends on its own. So if you're not a series reader, I think this could be read as a standalone. However, there is also a series, so if you enjoy this first book, there are more. But this is about a futuristic girls-only boarding school with a terrifying secret and the girls within that will stop at nothing to protect each other. And this is one where the girls are being sold a utopia, but what is actually happening behind the scenes is a lot darker and a lot more dystopian than it sounds. Even though this is a sci-fi, I think it definitely deserves a place on this housewife horror list. Additionally, this is YA, so if you do tend to prefer YA, this is the YA book on this recommendations list for y'all. The next recommendation that I have for y'all today is The Graveyard Apartment by Mariko Koike with Deborah Bolivar-Bohm as the translator. This one is about a couple and their small daughter who move into this apartment building that is situated right next to, maybe on top of, a graveyard, and our main character feels very trapped as her husband is at work all day and she is left to be pretty much in her own space with her young child with almost no neighbors around her. So this is a very eerie haunted house story. I just feel like the writing style and the way the narrative is set up and some of the chills and the scares in here feel very Shirley Jackson to me, and Shirley Jackson is someone who does have the themes of this book recommendation, like all of her work as well, I feel like could slot very neatly into housewife horror. But part of the reason why this book is so terrifying is our main character is just in this apartment building by herself. It feels like very much like a liminal space because there's not a lot of other people who live at this apartment complex, so she's really all by herself and she doesn't have any way to escape this situation even if she wanted to, because she stays at home, her husband is working, and she has to provide and take care of her small child while there are horrifying forces inside the apartment and the apartment building. And then last but not least, we have Comfort Me with Apples by Catherynne Valente, and this is one where you should go into it without knowing a lot about the plot, because I listened to the audiobook. This one's only 2 hours, so it is very short. It has to deal with the themes that this whole recommendations list is based off of. This one's very dark, atmospheric, suspenseful, and you're reading it and you don't really know what's happening. You start to think you may know what's going on, and then the book flips you on its head again. So this one, go into it not knowing a lot and just enjoy the wild, chaotic, dark horror ride that this will take you on. And there you have it. Those are 5 book recommendations for Housewife Horror. Definitely let me know if you would like a part 2, because I have a lot of book recommendations about this topic. It's just something that I'm drawn to in terms of horror, so I could definitely do a part 2, part 3, what have you. So let me know if you would enjoy that down below. But thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel for all of the bookish horror and cozy gaming content. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!